Hey guys, it's Miss Medic 10-8. Tonight is my second clinical rotation at Inova Fairfax Hospital's Trauma Center, which is the only level 1 trauma center in Northern Virginia. So I did some research on level 1 trauma centers. This is from the American Trauma Society. And a level 1 trauma center is capable of providing total care for every aspect of injury, from prevention through rehabilitation, and has the most sources available to the patient. So they have surgeons that are in specialties such as orthopedic surgery, neurosurgery, anesthesiology, emergency medicine, radiology, internal medicine, plastic surgery, pediatric, and critical care.
So put that into layman's terms.
They have the most capabilities available for the patient.
Okay, fair enough. And that means that you're going to see some high-level traumas, some car accidents, patients coming in on helicopters, and it's a busy place.
Yeah.
Are you ready for it?
Yes.
Okay, you weren't ready for the first one, you were scared.
I wasn't scared, I was nervous. There is a difference. I wasn't even nervous, I was stressed out because I didn't know my place in the ER. But now I'm a little bit more comfortable in that setting.
Okay, so the nurses and the doctors at the emergency department at Inova Alexandria gave you a good education.
Yeah, they did.
Okay. By the way, talking about education, you wanted to come to me and talk to me yesterday about grades in the EMT class.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mr. H, who is my EMT instructor, he was angry he has 3 class periods. He was angry with all 3 class periods because everyone failed this last test, which was mostly covering pharmacology. And many people got 30% or below.
30%.
30%.
Out of 100.
Out of 100%, yeah, 30% or below. Many people had to have take-home tests to basically survive in this class, because you need to have an 80% or above in the class to be able to take the National Registry exam on May 31st.
Okay, so the National Registry exam is what?
It's the practical, there's practical part of it where they have situations lined up, there's someone watching you, and you go through the different situations.
What type of situations are you talking
So they'll have
about?
one medical, one trauma, and then one where they just basically pick for you, so one random.
Okay, the qualifications for taking that exam, what age?
You need to be 16.
Okay, and what type of a grade does the Career Center require?
80% or above to be able to take that test.
And you've got people making 30s in this class.
30s on the test. Their grades that probably brought their grades down a lot, so maybe like 50s in the class.
Okay, please tell me that your grade is not a 50 in this class.
No, right now I'm above the 80% level, even with that test, because when I asked him what I got on the test, he said I was one of the higher ones with a high 70, and these tests are all going to be curved, so that grade is going to go up, so I'm not too worried.
Okay, well that's a good thing. I'm a little worried about your friends that are in the class.
Yes.
All right, nobody said this process was going to be easy.
Nope.
Okay, people take EMT class and think that it's going to be an easy shot to an A. What message do you have for them?
You're so wrong. That's not close to the truth. We had people, I forget the numbers, he was talking about this too when he was ranting at us about this test, but many people that started off EMT, they're out now. They either dropped out or he had to talk to them personally and be like, I don't think you can do this, it's not worth it to struggle through the year.
What units have you already covered? Pharmacology was this last test, right?
Pharmacology was the last test.
And it was brutal.
It was.
Okay. And what have you covered already?
Obviously CPR and AED, which is a prerequisite for the class to have that certification. We did ventilation, like what percent oxygen you're giving them, physiology, anatomy, trauma. Right now we're doing seizure and shock, so we're going into medical now and pharmacology. So we have yet to cover environmental emergencies, I think terrorism, emergencies like that, where it's dangerous for the EMT. That's probably one of our last units. I think next is probably going to be childbirth or some more medical emergencies. We've yet to cover childbirth, and we need to cover like suicidal patients and EDPs.
You use terms that I'm not familiar with.
EDP?
Yeah.
Emotionally disturbed person.
Okay. Now that's a skill worth having, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gathering from what you're saying that the class is going okay for you. It's not going okay for everybody.
No.
Okay. How many students started the class?
I'm not sure the exact number. Maybe around 60, a little higher than that.
And how many are left?
Maybe in the 50s. I have to ask him about that. I know there was a good amount of people who dropped out though, because they just couldn't handle it, or he saw their first few test grades and told them that this was not the right path for them.
Okay. You're excited about tonight?
Yeah,
You look a little tired.
I am. Balancing high school and all of this stuff is difficult at times, and the Police Explorers program, that was 2 nights ago. I'm tired, yeah. And my shift is until 1 a.m. and I have school tomorrow morning, so that'll be fun.
But you know, this is the makings of a good first responder.
Yeah.
Because what do you know about the hours that a first responder has to
They're
keep?
insane. Yeah, they are insane. Like 24-hour shifts. So far the class is very, very difficult. I'm hanging in there. I'm proud of myself. I'm doing well in this class, even though some of my friends are not. It is not an easy path. People should know that they should not go into this if this is not 100% what they want to do. It's not worth all of this effort that you need to put in to get through this class with just an 80%. It's tiring, and it's a lot of work, and it can be very, very stressful at times, but it'll all be worth it in the end when I am certified on May 31st, hopefully. That's
not a hope. Mr. H is very good at teaching what he teaches.
He is. But even students in the past year, because it's different when you're in the class and you're taking the test. It's different from when you're going to go take the test and there's a stranger testing you, giving you this blank stare, and just having you go through these situations. Like, some of his best students have failed the practical part of this test.
And that practical part is what you're talking about, where you have different stations, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and you have to actually perform the skill sets on those stations.
Yep.
Yeah, people choke.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, the best students choke.
So, no, it's not an easy path, but if you know what you're doing, you've been trained well, you can handle any crisis scenario all on your own, right?
Yeah.
And what's the thing I've always taught you? Who do you rely on?
Yourself.
100%. All right? I am proud of you. You're going down a path that is not easy, but you're doing very well. You're hanging in there, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we can expect of, people that come into this realm. That's what we expect as parents. All right? So, time is now what?
It's 6:07.
All right, so you're starting shift when?
It starts at 9. I'm getting there at 8:30. It goes until 1 a.m.
And you've got what tomorrow?
School. So that's all for right now. It's Miss Medic 10-8 and I am 10-7.